Hey everybody, it's Mark, Dr. Deadwax, and it's time for day 46 of the Inbox Challenge. Today's numbers were picked by LifeOnThisPlanetBlog, Brett. And Brett picked 4 numbers, but we're going to do 5, and you'll see why when I get to them. So I started this Inbox Challenge on Canadian Thanksgiving, and the stated end date is US Thanksgiving. So today is technically the end. However, 3 people's numbers have not been done, and no numbers will be left behind. So I'm going to do 3 more videos for those people, for those numbers, and I'll do 1 more to wrap it up, and that'll be like 50 videos, and then I'll be done. So you're stuck with me for a few more days. I know I promised I'd be done, and now I've broken my promise. So really, just unsubscribe, because you're sick of looking at me and you just want me to go away, and you thought this was it, and you thought, I'll tune in today because it's over, and he's going to stop, and he's going to keep going, he's just told me. So, now, Jeff was joking around the other day that when he got his package for Tony, he was like a little kid, and he couldn't wait to open it. He says, and Dr. Deadwax, he doesn't open parcels for a long time. Jeff was actually telling the truth. This one's been sitting around for a couple weeks. Just never in a hurry to open parcels. So, let's get to the records. The first record is Alice's Restaurant by Arlo Guthrie. This record came out in 1967. And total, like, I couldn't believe the kind of VC symmetry or synchronicity or whatever we're calling it. But I could not believe that one of Brett's numbers picked this record, because I mean, the story of Alice's Restaurant is set on Thanksgiving Day 1965. And it's, you know, where they go to visit Alice, who owns her restaurant, but the restaurant's not called Alice's Restaurant. But they go to visit Alice and her husband, who live in a church that has had the pews removed, but they have all the space down there, so they just throw their garbage there, and these guys decide to do the nice thing, and they decide to take the garbage to the dump, and they find out the dump is closed on Thanksgiving Day, so they drive around with the garbage and they don't know what to do with it, and then they see all of this garbage down at the bottom of a cliff, and they figure, well, we could go down there and bring the garbage up, put it in the back of the truck here, but it'd probably be easier to just put our garbage down there with that. You know, I'm not actually going to do the whole song, but anyways, that crime that made him unable to go to war and kill people, that crime of littering, took place on Thanksgiving Day 1965. So, and this is a Canadian pressing on reprise. I don't know if I've said that. DM and the Deadwax, not Darth Maul, Don Mills. That's the location of the pressing plant. This would be a early to mid 80s pressing of this record. Nice near mint record. I got it for free in a box of records I got like off Craigslist, kind of, or Craigslist up here. So that's that one. And next is a French record. Luci, Beausonge, Africaine, Lettre à un reviewer. I don't know what the hell. So I'm at a record show, and I'm digging through the dollar bin, and I find Manige self-service. And I find another French-Canadian prog record, and I find this, and I'm like, I don't know if I should buy this. I mean, she does have this striking jacket on, and she is holding an automatic weapon. I thought, that's promising for prog rock. And then her clothes are in a heap, and the gun is with them. And I thought, that is definitely, there could be a story here. This could be a concept. You know, who knows what this could be. France, you know, France is, I knew this was French and not French-Canadian, but France has given us, you know, wonderful things like Mael, Dijon mustard, and Syrah wine, and lovely camembert cheese. And I thought, no, this could be another one. This is not a boule from Poilin. This is pop music. It's very mundane. It comes with an inner sleeve. I don't know what the hell she says in the songs. My French is so bad I can speak it to the point to bring people who know French to laughter. This is a German RCA pressing, not a French one. But I can't actually, I can barely understand when people speak it, especially when they speak quicker than my cat can speak French. So this is, I mean, it's really well produced. It sounds excellent. The pressing is fantastic. The music is so kind of dull though. It's just kind of pop music. There's a couple songs on here that are okay, you know, but they're not, you know, they're not worth investing yourself. This is not staying. This is leaving my life. I don't know if I'm totally missing the ball on this, that this is some French gem that everybody lusts after, but it does absolutely nothing for me, so that'll be leaving my life forever. But hey, I got Manège and another French-Canadian record for $1 as well, so that's $3 for the three. Throw that away, it's $1.50 for Manège and the other one. I'm fucking miles ahead there. Next is just a brilliant, brilliant record. This is David Sancious, Just As I Thought, and this is a Canadian pressing on Arista, and this has a master disc HW in the deadwax, and HW stands for Howie Weinberg, so he is the mastering engineer that cut the plates. This has a blank inner sleeve, but it is in the Asylum blue, so I kept it. So David Sancious, I really think David Sancious is grossly, grossly, grossly underrated. I think I'm the only one I've ever seen show his records in the VC. I think I've showed 2 or 3. This one's from 1979. And it's produced by Eddie Offord, and Eddie Offord produced some records by Yes, and I'm wondering when I listen to this, is this how John Anderson wound up with David Sancious playing keys on his 1981 solo record, Animation? I wonder if Eddie Offord recommended Sancious to him. But this is, and it's got Ernest Carter on drums as well. He's a well-known drummer. He started, I believe, with Bruce Springsteen, kind of pre-E Street Band, and I'm not entirely sure if I got the story right, but if I remember it correctly, it might be his mother or grandmother's basement that they actually first started to rehearse in. Or that could be just some other member of the band, and I've totally forgotten. That could be Clarence Clemens, who just died. And I could have the stories mixed up in my head. But he did start early, pre-E Street Band with Springsteen, and then he left and he moved on. And musically, I mean, I think the guy is fantastic. He's a fantastic keys player. He loves to play polymoogs and Hammond organs. His sound is jazz, it's fusion, and it's prog. He totally is like a progger. So there's this blend of fusion and prog with a bit of jazz mixed into his music. Most of this is instrumental. It's just fantastic. His other records have these kind of same sounds. I think The Bridge might have been the one I talked about before, but I can't quite remember right now. But totally underrated. I don't think he's getting the kind of people are talking about him the way they should. If you ever see any Sancious, I recommend you check it out, or go out on YouTube and check out his music. If you like rock, fusion, prog, all kind of really blended together really well, this is your guy. I got this for $5 at a show, and his records typically do not sell for much more than that. They're always reasonably priced, because he's not getting the credit he deserves. The last two, there are a couple 45 EPs. That's why I did both of them, because I pulled this one and there was another one right behind it, so I did it. And these were records from my own personal collection from high school that I put in the inbox to get cleaned so that I could listen to them, because they were a little dusty and stuff. So this is Ganga 4. I love Man in Uniform, the 12-inch. This is Canadian pressing on just the cream Warner Brothers label. It's got a CR and a circle. which stands for Cinram, and Cinram was the manufacturing plant that made these records. By this point in Canada, most of the records were being made at Cinram. So, and this has the I Love a Man in Uniform remix, and then side 2 has Producer and I Love a Man in Uniform, the dub version. I think I Love a Man in Uniform was probably the biggest hit for Gang of Four. I don't know. This is off the album Songs of the Free. I bought this in high school. I don't know what I paid for it, like $4.99, $3.99, $4.99, whatever the hell the retail was back then. It's a good song. I don't really listen to much Gang of Four anymore. I listened to them a lot then. Haven't really listened to them much since then, but I like them. And the last record is by one of my favorite bands, and this is a 12-inch of Joan of Arc by OMD, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. It actually still has a piece of tape on here with my name on it from when we used to take records to high school dances, so that they actually had good music to play instead of the usual drivel that they tried to make us. We had the best dance in the city with the crap all our friends were bringing in. So this has a bit of a custom label. This is on Din Disc, which is a division, subsidiary or distributed by Polydor in Canada. Now you can see it's got the Orchestral Maneuvers Joan of Arc logo on that side, and then on this side that spot is just blank because this is the Romance of the Telescope, and this is that going to focus? Or not? Yeah, the Romance of the Telescope, and that's the unfinished version. Romance of the Telescope would subsequently appear on their next album, which was Dazzle Ships, in its finished version. I think it's like 7 seconds longer, and it's changed a little, but it's still pretty much the same. And the dead wax here is SNB for Sabine Nelson Burnett, so that means the plates were cut in Quebec by his company, and it was pressed at the Polygram plant in Saint Laurent, Quebec. And I think the other day I said the plant was in LaSalle, Quebec, so that's a correction to something I said. The Joan of Arc mix is just the standard singles, standard mix off the album. It's not extended or anything else. This was my favorite band in high school. This I almost exclusively listened to OMD and Yes. It was I was the only person I knew who listened to those two bands all the time. And I saw OMD maybe 8 times. They were a great band. They were really good live too. I saw them when they were kind of doing simpler music. I never saw them with Winston. It was just the 2 guys in the tape deck. I saw them always when it was all 4 of them. I know that typically OMD is shown to be McCluskey and Humphrey, but in actuality there were 4 guys that were the band for almost 10 years until I think it was 96 when they broke up. And McCluskey continued on without them as OMD for another, I think, 10 years, or can't remember quite how long. Anyway, so that's the records for today. So, you know, fantastic band. How can I not recommend that? And, you know, this is a great 12-inch, and this is a great album from Gang of Four, and, you know, their most popular single. David Sancious, Just As I Thought. This is wonderful. Check them out if you haven't checked them out already. Luci, Beausonge, Africaine is Leaving My Life Forever. I don't know. Did I miss the boat on that? Did I get that wrong? Or is that some sort of undiscovered gem? And Arlo, Guthrie, Alice's Restaurant. I mean, it's just fantastic. And on the other side, it's got the motorcycle song where he rhymes pickle with motorcycle. So, I mean, it's got everything going for it. So, that's it. Thanks, Brett, for picking the numbers and playing along. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And we'll see you for a couple more days if you want to come back. But if not, you're free to go, and the test will be in a week's time. So, study up. Have a great day. Get the record spinning.